go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes.
Is a child out?
Then he watches the security footage of the facehuggers attacking their victims and notices an unknown person in the background. Next, Morrow tells the engineers that the saboteur may be sneaking through the duct, so he needs to see the ship's blueprints. He also gets guns for Clem and himself for protection. The communication files with Earth have been corrupted and deleted, so Clem is running a recovery program. Later, Morrow looks over his personal effects while remembering his daughter. She passed away in year 8 of the mission, which the company communicated to him with just a cold letter. Shemuel lets Morrow and Zari know that their fuel reserves are down to 8%, so the saboteur knows what they're doing. Suddenly, an alarm rings to announce there's been a cryopod breach. Morrow and Zari rush to check and discover that the facehugger killed Bronchi and then escaped by breaking the pod glass. Morrow gives Zari an electric stun gun, and Rahim says they should wake up more crew members. But Morrow refuses to avoid chaos. In the lab, Chibuzo is feeding the other aliens and doesn't see how the leech alien opens the capsule to escape. The eye creature notices that and bangs on its container, so an annoyed Chibo puts it away. The leech uses the distraction to spray parasites in Chibuzo's water bottle and hide in the bread. Rahim comes in just in time to see it and puts it back in the capsule. After the humans leave, the eye alien pounds on its container until it falls and breaks, allowing it to escape. The awakened crew gathers to discuss the situation, and Malachite drinks from Chibuzo's water bottle. Morrow lets them know that he's taken out the guns and that anyone who provides information leading to an arrest will receive an extra share. Soon, Malachite begins puking blood and collapses. At the same time, Chibuzo notices that the eye alien escaped. Noises can be heard in the furniture and the alarm goes off, so she seals the lab. Morrow talks to Tang, who reveals that the computer may say a cryopod is full, but that doesn't mean it actually is all the time. Desperate to know who else is awake, Morrow goes through all the crew's calls to Earth and finally discovers that Petrovich has been in contact with Cavalier. If Petrovich could land the Magino in Prodigy territory, Cavalier promised to give Petrovich a new body. Morrow rushes to the cryopods and confirms that Petrovich isn't in his. Afterward, he goes to the medical bay for an update on Malachite. A quick scan reveals dark spots in his digestive tract. He's bleeding too much and too fast, so Rahim and Chibo have to operate on him. When they open him up, they notice some foreign bodies and assume it's ticks. They remove the first one only for the tick to spray a gas that immediately kills Rahim, Chibuzo, and Malachite. The others hurry to seal the room while the alien bugs leave Malachite's body. Meanwhile, Tang notices some saliva falling on his head, and when he looks up, he sees the xenomorph about to attack. Minutes later, Clem informs the others that Tang is dead. Morrow takes command of the ship and makes plans to get to Earth faster. Clem and Morrow go down the corridor and are blocked by Petrovich, who opens fire at them. A shootout ensues, and Clem gets hurt, so Morrow drags him into a lab to hide him. Unfortunately, Petrovich finds them and shoots Clem in the head. Morrow shoots back to hurt his face before leaving through the other door. Now he can surprise Petrovich from behind and kill him with his blade. Since Morrow left the door open, the eye alien escapes the lab, and the leech feeds on Clem. By the medical bay, the xenomorph lands behind Z and hits her legs with its tail to make her fall. Z immediately starts running and closes doors behind her, but the xenomorph just opens them and continues to chase her. In another room, Z finds a blowtorch and starts sealing the door. Shemuel is standing there, and when he turns around, he reveals the eye alien is controlling him. At that moment, the xenomorph reaches the door, but it can't open it, so it leaves. Morrow comes out of the ducts and presses a button before raising the door with his bare hands. Inside, he finds Zay on the ground and Shemuel staring at him. When she makes a strange noise, it gets the attention of the xenomorph, who quickly returns. Morrow stuns with his gun and runs to lock himself up in the computer room. Shemuel starts fighting the xenomorph, who stabs him multiple times with its tail. The body is useless, so the eye alien jumps out and grabs the xenomorph's face. Z uses the chance to run away, but when she asks Morrow for help, he seals the door with a blowtorch before hiding in the impact room, leaving Zay to die to the xenomorph's attack. Soon, the ship crashes on Earth. Days later, Morrow meets with Utani and promises to take the alien samples back. He also plans to kill Cavalier. In the present, the baby. The xenomorph has been locked up, but Wendy keeps visiting it to communicate. Hermit is worried about his sister's future, and Kirsch says he's limiting her. In private, Hermit tells Wendy he's looking for a way for them to escape, but Wendy doesn't want to leave and defends the aliens. Meanwhile, Nibs is being tested, but the scientists can't figure out why she thinks she's pregnant. Sylvia thinks it's PTSD from the alien attack and mentions therapy. However, Adam wants her mind wiped. Arthur protests against the idea and even threatens to quit, but Sylvia says she can do it, so Adam fires Arthur. Utani and Cavalier meet and argue about the Maginot crash, blaming each other. Cavalier claims Utani has been smuggling aliens, and Utani offers $20 billion above the mediation sum to get the samples back. He agrees, but will hold the creatures until the 6-week quarantine is over. In the afternoon, Nibs wakes up in her room without memories of the past few days. Wendy chats with her and quickly realizes something is wrong. Nibs gets very anxious from her questions, and Wendy leaves to confront Sylvia for what she did. Wendy explains she feels betrayed and disapproves of the experiments on the aliens. When Sylvia asks what's wrong so she can fix it, Wendy says Sylvia herself is the problem. In his room, Hermit is working on an escape plan when he's approached by Slightly, who keeps hearing Morrow in his head telling him to hurry. Slightly tries to make Hermit come with him to the lab, but they're interrupted by Rashidi, who takes Hermit away for patrol. While the team is patrolling, Hermit keeps asking questions about the island's security, and Siberian grows suspicious, advising him to drop whatever he's planning. In the lab, Wendy keeps talking to the xenomorph, which is growing very fast. Later, Toodles is given the task of feeding the aliens, but goes alone to the lab instead of taking help like Kirsch wanted. He inserts a tray of food in each cell, only to accidentally break one of the hatches. He has no choice but to open the actual cell to put the tray inside. The eye alien in the sheep uses the chance to startle Toodles and makes him fall, so the door closes behind him. An alien bug lands on Toodles' arm and spits acid on his face, killing him to feed on it. While Arthur is packing, Hermit approaches him with some questions about Prodigy. Aware they're on camera, Arthur gets a computer to write a message. He tells Hermit to escape with Wendy and gives him a code for a boat. He also disables the trackers on all the Lost Boys. After Hermit leaves, the computer announces that Toodles isn't connected. Slightly tries to enter the lab, but isn't brave enough. At that moment, Arthur shows up and opens the door to look for Toodles, so Slightly follows him. Arthur rushes to the body and Slightly uses the chance to open the egg cell before leaving. When Arthur hears an egg doing something strange, he rushes to the door only to discover that Slightly has locked him in. Then Arthur tries to call security, but at that moment, a newborn facehugger jumps on his head. Kirsch watches everything on the cameras, but doesn't tell Cavalier. Once Arthur collapses, Slightly goes back inside and drags his body into the vent. Minutes later, they're in Slightly's room, where he moves the facehugger just enough to feed Arthur. However, this only causes the creature's tail to tighten around Arthur's neck. Smay comes to the room and Slightly can't keep him out. Smay sees the body under the bed and panics. Slightly pushes Smay against the wall and explains his family is under threat, which convinces him to help. In the lab, the alien bugs have left the cell and are wrecking the equipment. Kirsch sends soldiers inside to stun the bugs and recapture them. When Wendy also comes and is devastated to find Toodles dead, she wants to warn the others, but Cavalier and Kirsch ask her to keep it secret. The guards block the door when she tries to leave, so Wendy talks to the xenomorph, who starts pounding on the cell door. Everyone is so shocked that she manages to get out. A worried Cavalier orders Kirsch to find the other Lost Boys before Wendy, but checking the computer reveals the trackers are off. Hermit finds Wendy and tells her it's time to escape, but Wendy wants to bring the Lost Boys with them. She convinces Nibs to come, but Curly wants to stay. The group makes her promise not to tell on them. Then Wendy uses a screen to hack into the lab and release the xenomorph from its cell. The creature immediately starts killing the scientists. The alarm starts echoing in the building and Kirsch finds Slightly and Smye sneaking around with Arthur's body. Instead of stopping them, he tells them the easiest route to the beach and advises them not to be late. In the woods, Nibs and the siblings find some graves. They realize these are the original names and bodies of the kids whose minds were put into the hybrids. Hermit sees soldiers in the distance and makes the group move faster. Slightly and Smye are also crossing the woods and hide in the bushes when they see the soldiers. Once the road is clear, they turn around and discover that Arthur is gone. Suddenly, the facehugger falls dead from a tree, and Arthur appears in the bushes looking perfectly normal. He doesn't remember anything, so the boys tell him the building is being evacuated and convince him to go to the beach with them. Minutes later at the beach, Arthur starts seeing flashes of what happened and realizes everything is wrong. He grabs the boys' hands and starts taking them back to the facility, promising that he can help them. Suddenly, Arthur freezes and spits blood as he collapses. Then, the alien chestburster erupts from his chest, killing Arthur and splashing blood all over the boys. The chestburster runs into the woods and Slightly tries to follow it, but quickly loses sight of it. Then Slightly begins dragging Arthur's body to the meeting spot. After a long walk in the water, the boys find a group of Whale and Utani soldiers led by Morrow. While a second soldier team reaches another beach, Morrow is disappointed to see that the chestburster is gone and tells his men to capture the boys. In the facility, Cavalier keeps trying to talk to the alien and the sheep in many different languages. It only reacts when Cavalier writes the number for pi. It stomps on the ground to represent each number and finishes by pooping. Cavalier realizes he should put the eye alien in a human body to be able to talk to it. Prodigy soldiers go out and quickly capture the chest burster with a net. When Morrow's team tries to sneak into the facility, they're immediately surrounded by soldiers and captured. Nibs and the siblings are still crossing the woods when they're surrounded by the second Wei and Utani team. Wendy makes some noises, and the xenomorph jumps out of a tree to attack the soldiers, killing them all in seconds. Then it approaches Wendy, and she gently pets its head while telling it to hide and follow. The alien immediately hides in the bushes. Hermit takes a gun from one of the bodies, but is disturbed by all this death. Eventually, the trio makes it to the docks and gets on the boat, only to find Siberian and Rashidi waiting with more soldiers. A man takes Nib's favorite toy from her hands and throws it in the water. So, she responds by ripping the guy's jaw off. A fight ensues, and Nibs and Wendy easily bring down a few soldiers thanks to their robotic bodies. Then, Wendy tries to call the xenomorph, but Hermit stops her. Siberian manages to shoot Nibs in the shoulder, and Nibs gets ready for revenge. Desperate to save his friend, Hermit shocks Nibs to bring her down, and Wendy gets angry with him. Now the soldiers can capture them while the xenomorph watches from the bushes. On the beach, Arthur's body washes up and is found by the xenomorph. It keeps exploring the area and sees Sylvia leaving flowers at the graves. The alien tries to attack her, but soldiers open fire, and it's forced to run away. Soon, it's running all over the island, killing any human it can find. Cavalier is informed that comms are down because Morrow cut some cables and Utani is jamming the satellites. More and more teams are sent out to hunt the xenomorph, yet the alien always kills them first. The rest of the aliens are still in their cells and the Lost Boys have been locked up together. Nibs thinks Curly snitched on them, but she denies it. Adam tells Cavalier they should evacuate, but Cavalier is more interested in watching Wendy and the sheep. When Nibs makes a sarcastic comment about them being ghosts, Wendy remembers that humans should be afraid of hybrids. She disables the cameras with her hacking power and makes a bunch of sounds that are heard by the xenomorph in the distance. Then she plays videos of the Lost Boys' original bodies on Sylvia's computer to make her feel guilty about her empty promises of love and support. A frustrated Sylvia throws the screen to break it. Rashid's team is heading to the armory to get more weapons and is startled by the elevator opening on its own. They get in, and the elevator only goes down for a few seconds before it freezes. Suddenly, the lights go out and a computer voice announces the start of the self-destruct sequence. This is all being controlled by Wendy, who watches the soldiers struggle on the security cameras. The team is working together to escape through the ceiling, and Wendy gets bored, so she makes the elevator work normally again. Then Wendy watches Hermit in the cell with Morrow and thinks about how lonely she used to be when he left for work during the war. Smee tells Wendy that Nibs was out of control and that Hermit is one of them. Wendy feels bad and unlocks the guy's cell. Morrow slams the door on the guard and starts beating him up, but Hermit stops him from killing him. Morrow takes the guard's gun before leaving. In the lab, Morrow tries to surprise Kirsch, who hears him and shoots first. The men quickly disarm each other and start fighting hand to hand. After exchanging a bunch of blows, Morrow manages to bring Kirsch down on a table, breaking his body in two. Morrow gets ready to shoot Kirsch in the head, but gets distracted when he hears an alien escape. Kirsch uses the chance to bring him down and chokes him until he passes out. Wendy hears Cavalier coming and calls the xenomorph again to guide him inside. She then opens the cell and asks Cavalier to share his story. He tells them his father was a drunk, but he was born a genius. So, he built his first robot to kill his dad. The Lost Boys start surrounding Cavalier, and his guard tries to stop them, but Nibs jumps on him and beats him to death. A terrified Cavalier runs away while Wendy gives each of his friends a target. In a corridor, the xenomorph is already killing soldiers. While Nibs finds Sylvia, Smee and Slightly get to Kirsch and tie him up. Morrow tells them he hasn't hurt their families, but Slightly knocks him out anyway. Adam finds Hermit first and convinces him to come to the office by claiming that Wendy is waiting. Hermit discovers that the container is open and the sheep is staring at him from outside. The eye alien jumps out, and Hermit rushes to hide inside the container, closing it just in time. Then the alien goes inside through the food hatch, and Hermit is forced to run out. When the creature jumps again, Hermit blocks it with his hands. At that moment, Wendy bursts through the window and slaps the monster off her brother. Hermit grabs a weapon to kill it, but Adam returns and knocks him out. Wendy tries to fight Adam, who is stronger, and easily throws her off. The alien is about to get Hermit, so Wendy rushes ahead to kick it away. When Adam is about to get her, Wendy uses her hacking power to freeze him, since he has a robotic body too. The eye alien escapes through a hole in the floor while the siblings argue over what happened to Nibs. Wendy admits she likes the aliens because they're honest. Cavalier makes a call to offer $1 million to whoever dares rescue him. The xenomorph suddenly appears to block his way, and soldiers rush in to defend him. However, the siblings also show up, and Wendy gives out orders. The xenomorph kills all the guards while Hermit knocks Cavalier out. In the lab, the alien plant appears above Siberia and quickly swallows her whole. The other soldiers open fire to no avail. Then Curly comes in and knocks Rashidi out. On the beach, the eye alien gets inside Arthur's body. Soon, Whale and Utani planes arrive at the island for recovery. The Lost Boys put Cavalier, Morrow, Kirsch, Sylvia, and Adam in a cell while Wendy scolds them for experimenting on children. She also tells Cavalier that he isn't different from his father. Both the baby and the adult xenomorphs appear outside the cell, and Wendy announces that now they'll rule. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.